a little bit later. And after that, action continues exclusively, no, simulcast on ESPN Plus and ESPN, beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. 7 more fights. And look at the red corner favorites here. The former champion, Bruno Capoloza, Ante Dillia, the runner-up from a season ago, Dennis Goltsov, and Reina Ferreira, all big-time favorites, as is Chris Wade in the featherweight division. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Kenny Florian. Kenny, we're going to talk about heavyweights for a second. Are you comfortable with that?
I am very comfortable. I can't wait for these fights, actually.
Randy, I know you're comfortable talking about the heavyweights.
Absolutely.
This man, heavyweight champion of the world. Can you believe that? All right, let's talk about a couple of big Brazilians on our main card later on ESPN and, of course, simulcast on ESPN Plus. I'm talking about the big Brazilians. Bruno Capoloza, the Season 3 champ, as you're well aware. And we'll get to Reina Ferreira here in just 1 second. But let's start with Bruno. Is there anyone in the heavyweight division, Randy, that has faster hands than this man?
No, I don't think there is. In any promotion, anywhere, this guy's got the most explosive, fastest hands you're ever going to see. If you stand around in front of Bruno Capoloza, you're going to see a jab cross hook combination come in rapid succession into your face, and hopefully you can withstand that. Not many do. This guy had an amazing season last season, won the championship in both the saddest and most enjoyable moment of his life. This guy's explosive and back on track. Matthias Scheffel has 12 knockouts to his credit. No pressure on him at all. He's going to just go out there and let it hang out. He's got a lot of respect for Bruno Capoloza, but that respect is going to go out the window as soon as that cage door closes.
Yeah, Scheffel, a knockout artist in his own right, looking to pull off the big upset. And let's talk about a freak of nature. Reina Ferreira, one of the best athletes we've seen in the sport of mixed martial arts, all 6'8" of them, and you saw in the highlights the celebration backflip. Kenny, I know you can pull one of those off. Thanks for not making me and Randy feel bad, and he could do it if he wanted to. But let's talk about Reina Ferreira. This man is dangerous everywhere, but does he get it done tonight?
Listen, this is a guy who is 6'8", as you mentioned, 85-inch reach. Now, just that alone is a big-time issue. But when you combine that with his athleticism, with his skills on the feet, the fact that he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background, that's why they call him the Problema. I mean, you look at the way that he moves, the way he puts it all together, and the fact that he's finishing guys with relative ease and his hunger, no one wants to face that guy. Sean O'Connell just tore his hamstring looking at that right there.
Just watching it.
Yeah, unbelievable. But he is going against a very dangerous guy in Klidson Abreu, a guy from American Top Team, one of the best teams in the world. He's very motivated, he's very hungry, and he has an excellent ground game, and he intends to use it against Ferreira.
All right, let's take a look at the heavyweight standings as we head into the second half of the regular season. Reina Ferreira, Dennis Goltsov, Bruno Capoloza all secured first-round finishes, and of course the 6 points that go along with them. Ante Dillia, the runner-up a season ago, he got a second-round finish, and that's good for 5 points. And the aforementioned Klidson Abreu had a decision victory his first time out, which means he carries 3 points into his matchup with the gigantic Reina Ferreira later on tonight. And actually, for more on the problem, we send things over to Brett Okamoto.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. And the first thing that anybody notices, of course, on Reina Ferreira is the height. He is 6'8". I don't need to be reporting from the sidelines to tell you that this guy is very, very tall, but it goes beyond that. I actually spent a little bit of time here with him on the basketball court, and look at the moves for the big man. This guy is very, very athletic. He's explosive. I mean, the height is one thing, but it's also the speed, which will come into factor if he ever fights Bruno Capoloza, a fight that a lot of us are looking for. But tonight, it's Klidson Abreu, and look at the way that Klidson has to look up at him. Very, very tall guy, and he's an intimidating guy to face in the cage, and Klidson Abreu's got his hands full tonight, guys.
Sorry for the technical difficulties on Brett's mic there. We'll get that sorted out as the night progresses. But, Randy, I mean, you're talking about it. You fought guys this size. How do you get over it when you're the much shorter fighter?
You got to make friends with the possibility this guy could literally put you out. And once you make friends with that, you go out and do exactly what you're trying to do. You make the guys generally move more, the bigger guys, and you have a, you're okay. But this guy moves too. He's like a Brock Lesnar. He's not just a big dude. This guy is athletic. He can actually move, and that is a problem.
Well, these big Brazilians are not just large in stature, but the numbers on the betting odds are a little bit outsized here. I don't know how to play it, but we bring in experts. In fact, we bring in the best experts in the business to help guide you through your wagers. That, of course, is Jonathan Coachman and Ian Parker. How are we betting the big Brazilians?
Sean, first of all, it's great to be back with you again, PFL 5. And the beautiful part about tonight, Ian, is that both for the featherweights and for the heavyweights, nothing has been decided yet. Let's start with the reigning, defending heavyweight champion of the world. When we look at his last 5 fights, well, it's all about W. This man said last year was all about pride for him, but he wants to do it again this year. Then what about the other big Brazilian, Renan Ferreira? He's a beast. But look at his last 2 wins, 25 seconds, 31 seconds. In the betting market, you hardly ever see bets for half of a round. But in the PFL, that happens, and you have to have that because of how these guys are getting it done. So let's start with that main event, Ian. How are you betting?
Bruno Capoloza, minus 610, and every reason why we know it. The dominance, the fast hands, the explosiveness, and he's knocking people out left and right. But, Coach, that number's too high for me. Let's go to our fight props. Now, by finish is minus 360. By KO or TKO is minus 300. So, again, we are just looking at such high numbers because he's been running through people for all those ways. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our KO and TKO prop, and our first round prop, we're going to put it together. Bruno Capoloza by first round TKO or KO at minus 150.
I absolutely love that play, Ian. But when you look at the other Brazilian, and you talk about how fast he's running through guys, he's doing it even faster. So what do we do?
Hatton Ferreira is an absolute problem. The nickname really fits perfectly, but it's a problem for us betting it on the money line, more importantly at minus 520. So we're going to go back. We're going to take that same route we do with Bruno Capoloza. Fight props by finish, minus 250. Now, by KO or TKO, minus 225 is so close to that minus 200 number that we draw the line at. So even at the round props, I mean, minus under 1.5 is minus 235. That's really tough for a pill to swallow right there. So we are going to once again get really detailed with these props. First round, TKO, KO by Hatton Ferreira. And, Coach, minus 125, we're getting that number. I like both of these a lot.
You see, that's a number that I can wrap my head around. Now, Sean, I can tell you this. If the featherweights and heavyweights, if that's all we were doing tonight, that would be enough. But we have a bonus fight, a bonus main event style fight. The name's Anthony Showtime Pettis. We'll have a bet for that coming up. But for the story, let's send it back to Sean and the guys.
Thank you, Coach, and absolutely. Anthony Showtime Pettis in his second PFL season, second half of this season, is carrying 6 points into the co-main event tonight. And, Randy, we will start right there. Anthony Pettis, a season ago, came in and really had a rough time with the schedule, with the opponents.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit different so far this year. What do you think? What do you make of Showtime?
You know, he came to us at the finals. He said, man, I seriously underestimated what I'd gotten myself into. He's front-loaded his camps. He's figured out the weight cut, and it shows here against Price with the topside triangle. Everybody forgets about this guy's submissions abilities, and they're real. The kicks and everything else he brings, this is the full deal. I think we got the Showtime back.
Yeah, that's right. And for Stevie Ray, I mean, he's got the skills, he has the ability, he has the experience to go out there and get a finish against Anthony Pettis. He has 14 finishes with a nice, healthy mix of submissions and knockouts. You know, had a little bit of a layoff, but he's found his groove now, he feels.
All right, here are the lightweight standings with only one more fight to go before we truly solidify this picture. Anthony Pettis, OAM, Alexander Martinez, they have all clinched a spot. We will see where the seeds are after the fight in our co-main event tonight. Stevie Ray can actually knock last year's champion Raush Manfio out of that number 4 spot if he can get a finish over Anthony Pettis within 12.5 minutes of this fight. So halfway through the 3rd round is really the mark for Stevie Ray. It is a stacked main card, and of course that co-main will be part of it. 7 fights, simulcast on ESPN and ESPN+. Bruno Capoloza and Mateusz Scheffel will finish it off. Anthony Pettis and Stevie Ray, as we already talked about. But look, we're starting off with Denis Goltsov. Denis Goltsov is a 2-time semifinalist here. Still, some big numbers, hard to bet. And for that, we send it back to Jonathan Coachman and Ian Parker. Fellas, teach me.
Oh, yeah, it's maybe tough for you to bet, but not for us. Let's jump right into it. This lightweight fight tonight. Now, Anthony Pettis told Brett Okamoto he's going to be very smart. So with that in mind, how are you betting this fight, Ian?
You got to pay attention to the betting line. That's smart, is why he's only minus 170 after a knockout in the first round. I'm sorry, a submission. He should be a higher favorite. But for me, Anthony Pettis has got to play this smart, safe, stay healthy for the playoffs. Stevie Ray's got to get a finish. I like Anthony Pettis at minus 170, but if that juice is too high for you, Coach, there's another prop I like by decision at plus 130, and I think that's the way that Pettis gets it done tonight.
Yeah, I actually don't mind the juice. Sometimes it is worth the squeeze, Ian. All right, let's go to the featherweights now because there are 5 fighters tonight that come in with 3 points. That means everything is on the line. Let's go to Chris Wade and Mr. Botniak. How you picking this fight, Ian?
I like Chris Wade here. I love what he did against Lance Palmer. The striking has really evolved and improved over his time, and we know he's got the wrestling to back it up. Botniak's tough, hard to put away, so back to the fight props we go. I'm going Chris Wade by decision at minus 165.
Now, there are several other big numbers on this fight card we just can't touch. So give me a 4-way Parker's parlay that gets kind of juicy for me.
It's going to get real juicy. Ante Delia, minus 1,050. We're going to throw him in the parlay. We need some action on him. Let's get Chris Wade in there. But as I plug these in, these odds will drop. Hatton Ferreira, minus 520. Let's throw him in. And last but not least, Bruno Capoloza at minus 610. Coach, now we just got our 4 heaviest favorites in a parlay at only minus 125. Let's go.
Whenever Ian's fired up, darn it, I'm fired up. So there's Parker's parlay. We have plenty more to come on the ESPN Plus card in just a couple of minutes. But for now, we need to look at somebody that is fired up from the jump tonight. Sean, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Ian. Thank you, Coach. How about that? Parker's parlay with the favorites, bringing that number all the way down. A little too much chalk for me. We've had so many upsets. We've had so many upsets.
It'd be an amazing heavyweight semifinal, though. Wow.
Okay, Kenny's thinking way ahead about the playoffs, and that's what tonight is about, earning your spot in the playoffs. And here's where we will be for the 2022 playoffs, keeping the dream alive for the fighters who make it there for a $1 million championship. Friday, August 5th, we're back in New York City at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden. Randy, I have very fond memories of that place.
As do I.
Saturday, August 13th, we go to Cardiff, Wales. Very excited to be across the pond. And then on August 20th, London, England plays host to our final playoff fight. Speaking of London, how about this? The British export, he is going to start our card off tonight. He's supposed to be in the playoff picture in London. That means tonight a lot of pressure. So how's he feeling about all that? Where's his head at? Well, you can hear it from Brendan Loughnane in his own words.
No, life's good, life's good. I went home, I finally got to see my family after a year. That was rough. That last season was rough for me, it really was. I was injuries, staph infections, not going home, living in random people's houses, just trying to make it work just because COVID and you couldn't leave the States. Now I can do whatever I want to do. I can do what I normally do to prepare for fights, be with all the people that have supported me all along the way.
Brendan Loughnane, we know how good he is. We know what he's been working on.
I flew straight home. I did my whole camp at my mum's house with my dog, with my coach that I've had from day one. Everything that I always had growing up in this fight game I had for this camp, and I just feel like I really fed off the Manchester energy this time. I really, really did, and like being around all my friends and family was really important for me in this camp, and I feel amazing, honestly. I am ready to put on the best performance of my career this time.
Brendan Loughnane! Brendan Loughnane! Puts Jason Moraes down!
So I know that if I want to get myself to London, I need to finish this guy. I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders. This guy's coming in with nothing to lose, bro. Like, this guy's coming in to just lay it all out there and bang it out like he does in his other fights. So guess who the pressure's on? Me. Guess who's watching everybody, and everybody expects to win? Me. So I've got to go out there and execute that just like I plan to.
Welcome back, fight fans. Atlanta, Georgia. Beautiful, little hot, little muggy, but more importantly, a wonderful host to Professional Fighters League regular season action. Sean O'Connell and Randy Couture and Kenny Florian. We're back. We're very happy to be here. This is the push to the playoffs. And I know that for some of you, the idea of playoffs in the sport of mixed martial arts might be a little bit unfamiliar, but don't worry, our friends at Puncher's Chance Kentucky Bourbon have you covered with a little explanation here. We've got 10 fighters in each weight class, 6 different weight classes, 2 regular season fights apiece. In those fights, you try and earn points, 3 points for a win, bonus points for a finish in any round. The top 4 fighters on points in each division will make the playoffs, and after the end of those playoffs is a $1 million championship fight, and you get a beautiful gold belt to go along with it, should you be successful. So we're talking playoffs. Here are our featherweight standings so far, brought to you by Next Level Hydrogen Water. You can see a log jam here, 3 points. Decision victories for all of our featherweights in their first outings, which means tonight is about separation, earning your spot, and of course, how do you separate yourself? You try and get a finish. We already talked about the pressure on Brendan Loughnane. A British export, he wants to go back to fight in those playoffs in England, that August 20th date in London. He starts the card tonight, which means he's the first one. He doesn't get to sit back, Kenny, and watch what everyone else did and plan and strategize and fight accordingly. How does Brendan Loughnane manage this?
Yeah, he's got to go for it. You know, Loughnane has always delivered some of the best fights we've had in the PFL, you know, but the problem is he's been a little inconsistent sometimes in how he goes out and executes. Why? Because he's dealt with a lot of injuries. There he is getting the knockout against Shimon Moraes. There he is against Bill Caputo this year. Still exciting fights, but he's had a lot of injuries. So sometimes we see a Loughnane, you know, that has been dealing with a lot of things outside of the cage. But he knows he needs to go out there and deliver an excellent performance. A lot of pressure on him, but he is feeling healthy. He is feeling good.
He's feeling healthy and good. The pressure's all on him. His opponent, Ago Huskic, has the opposite. Nobody expects anything from him. He can secure a playoff spot with a big finish.
Absolutely. He gets a chance to be a spoiler tonight, but can he pull it off? We've seen Loughnane be surgical in his striking. If he's on point, he's very tough to deal with.
Look, as long as we're talking about Brendan Loughnane, Manchester, where he's from, has played host to some absolute legends in the world of combat sports. In fact, as much as I love Brendan Loughnane, he's certainly not the biggest name in Mancunian combat history. And actually, he caught up with one of the OGs, Ricky Hatton.
Ooh, it's legendary, isn't it? What a setup. You look brand new, mate. You do, honestly. I'm surprised. I was like, wow, I didn't expect you to look in this good a nick, mate.
No, it's...
Even when you grabbed me underfoot, it's like a brick wall.
Very proud of me gym, you know what I mean? I'm very proud of Manchester, as you are yourself, you know. The best football teams, the best music. We don't do bad at the boxing, do we, to be fair? It's a real... But it's a proper town. It's all the history, all the posters. I kept all the posters from my fights coming through the ranks. How was your training at the minute?
You have to get back in, mate. It's either you're rolling this dice for $1 million, there's your dates, you've got 4 of them, you know when they are, you miss one of them, you're out of the tournament. Yeah. So it's its own entity. It's not like, not 3-month training camps, it's 5 weeks in between.
We should have gone into football, shouldn't we?
Do you know what I mean?
400 grand a week kicking a bag of window, man. Punch like...
Well, a big thing was you filling all the arenas with screaming Manx and then going over to Vegas with the Mayweathers and bringing all these lunatics over, like, you know, that's what I want now. And I want it in the MMA version. And this time, they've put me on at 10 o'clock on a Friday night on Channel 4. Okay. This next
all you need is one of them.
I know.
Get the fan base.
One, that's it, innit?
You can't lie to the public. When you get your chance on the box, you know what I mean, in front of a bigger audience, and you come across, you know, with your exciting style and also what you are as you.
Exactly.
That's just as important.
Get some tips.
He'll be there, obviously, he'll probably give it that.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
I'd just, if he falls it, I'd catch it, you know, I'd catch it.
Boom, boom.
And do the same, come back with your own.
So I'm
Yeah, yes, there.
And then in a jab?
Yeah, just to get you...
Okay, boom, boom.
Yeah, touch. That's it. You just be patient.
I'm trying to get on the outside of this?
Yeah, just wait.
You use that?
Yeah, just do that. Just step around, go away. There you go.
Yeah, out the way, yeah. Yeah, we've been working that. Nice one for the tips.
Yeah. Sound.
Lovely.
And there's a little Manchester, England watch party developing as Brendan Loughnane is set to climb into the smart cage just a few minutes from now. Brett Okamoto actually caught up with Brendan Loughnane a little bit earlier. We send it to Brett for more.
Well, Brendan, you certainly look loose to me, but I'll still ask you, how are the nerves going into this second round opening here?
Oh, fantastic. I live for this, mate. I can't wait to get in there. An hour and a half. I know everyone's in the pub back home waiting for it. Can't wait, mate.
And you're going to be kicking us off here in Atlanta. Do you like that? Do you like the opportunity to kind of set the tone, or is this a disadvantage having to go before everybody else?
Bro, it's the best thing ever. In and out. I hate sitting around till 11 o'clock at night and watching everybody else. You be sat in the back, someone comes in, bust up, and you're like, wow, he was looking good in the back. Hate all that. In and out job. I'm here. Let's go.
Hey, well, one of the best parts about the broadcast tonight is that we're going to have a camera on your friends and family back in Manchester. Where are they going to be, and how important would it be for you to solidify a playoff spot, just especially knowing that these events are going to be in the UK?
It means everything to me. I mean, the whole weight of the world's on my shoulders tonight, but these are moments that I live for. Diamonds are made under pressure. Everyone back in Manchester is waiting, and I'm ready to put on a show for everyone tonight. Believe that.
Yeah, you absolutely look ready to go, man. I appreciate the time right before the fight, and best of luck.
Let's go. Let's go.
There's the whole crew. The anticipation building not too long before we see Brendan Loughnane fighting for a spot that would take him into the playoffs, fighting on home soil back in the UK, of course. Brendan Loughnane opens our exclusive ESPN Plus fight card against Algo Huskic. There are 4 fights here. Loughnane, as I already mentioned, is a big-time favorite. Juan Adams is the only blue corner favorite here. Alejandro Flores and Lance Palmer favored as well. So how are we betting these first 4 fights? Don't ask Randy, don't ask Kenny. Ask Jonathan Coachman and Ian Parker. Fellas, how are we starting it off?
Oh, we're starting it off really, really hot tonight. I'm excited about it, but we'll get to that in a second. First, I want to talk, Ian, about the headliner for the ESPN Plus card. I'm talking about Lance Palmer, and also on the other side, Shaman Moraes. Quickly, how are you picking this fight?
Coach, I know how you love underdogs. We're going to go with Shaman Moraes in this one. I love how he fought in his last one. His Muay Thai, his knees, his defensive takedowns look excellent against Lance Palmer. He's going to need every bit of that wrestling defense. Palmer just hasn't been himself in the last season, so we're going to go with Shaman Moraes at plus 145.
And finally, let's talk about that opening contest, because you normally don't get this in the PFL. On my daily show called The Early Edge, my man Alan Bell always says, no pressure, no diamonds. You just heard Brendan Loughnane talk about it. What's on the horizon is London, England for him. Is that pressure, or do you like it? Talk to me.
I do like it, but he thrives under pressure, and this is a moment he has to enjoy every bit of it. He wants to go home. He wants to fight in front of the crowd. But at minus 900, as much as I believe in Brendan Loughnane, too much for my blood, Coach. We're going fight props. He needs to finish. He talks about it. He did against Shaman Moraes last year. If he can be more consistent, if he can land those strikes early and come forward, I believe he can get it done. And at plus 120, I'm in on Brendan Loughnane to get it done by finish.
And a little bonus pick I'm going to throw out there, and I love the under 2.5. It's been somewhere around plus 100 to minus 115. I like that as well, in addition to your play. But we've got everybody ready. We've got single plays, we've got parlays, we've got underdogs. I'm going to sit back on ESPN Plus, on ESPN all night long, and just catch the tickets. Ian, stand by. Sean, let's send it back to you.
All right, you heard it right there. Ian Parker thinks not only a win for Brendan Loughnane, but a finish. And, of course, that solidifies him a playoff spot and a trip back home to fight in front of the fans.
Listen, Loughtnane's healthy. The way that he fights, he's very aggressive, always looking for the finish, and he's capable of doing it both on the feet and on the ground. So I like it, yeah.
In our last fight on the ESPN Plus card, Ian likes the underdog, Shaman Moraes. That would be 4 losses in a row for Lance Palmer.
Yeah, and he mentioned the mental skills and him not being as consistent that we saw him as a 2-time champ in the PFL. The one thing he's added this season now is the sports psychologist to help him focus more. He's like he had a lot of distractions with the 18 months off and the COVID and all that. He wants to get back on track tonight.
4 great fights exclusively here on ESPN Plus. Manchester's getting ready because they know that in a few minutes, Brendan Loughnane climbs into the smart cage and gets to work. There he is, putting the final touches on a warm-up. Brendan Loughnane, can he make good on the promise of returning to his home country of England to keep the dream and the chase alive for a $1 million PFL championship? Algo Huskic wants to play spoiler. He's only got one opportunity to earn points, and it's next on ESPN Plus.